Hey teaheads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, top 3 teas for newbies. In this video, I'm going to be presenting to you 3 teas that I think make the perfect gateway teas, and then we're going to be tasting them. This video is going to go under the Basic Tea Educations playlist. If at any point in time you enjoy this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. The more thumbs in the air, the more tea videos are going to come your way. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, go click that button. Maybe you are somebody that's just getting into tea. You're just starting to explore this wonderful world afforded by this amazing plant. Or maybe you are already an experienced and passionate tea head that is looking for a little bit of help to convert their friends and families. Well, this video is for you. We have been in the industry for 10 years. We've been selling tea at our tea house in Camden in London for over 10 years. So we've got a fair amount of experience at teas that convert people into the world of true tea. Now, if you go to our website, mayleaf.com, I'll put a link in the description below. There is one area of the website where you can answer one simple question, and I will give you my personally curated selection of 5 teas that I think would be suitable for you. I've also done another video called How to Make People Fall in Love with Tea. Go and check that one out. I'll put a link in the description below as well. And in that video, I express how important it is, if you are a tea head, somebody that's passionate about tea, that you pick a tea which you are passionate about, which you love, because it's your passion and your enthusiasm that is going to be so infectious and bring people into the world of true tea. And I stand by that. But given our experience, I have found that there are some teas that are more successful than others. And I've picked 3 teas today that I want to share with you. Before we do that, I want to make it very clear that even though this is video for tea newbies and to convert people into tea, it doesn't mean that these are basic or introductory teas. These are still high quality teas that everybody and anybody should try. All right, ready? Let's start with our first tea. Our first tea is Imperial Green. Imperial Green, also known as Dragonwell Green, also known as Longjing. This is a classic tea, one of the most famous Chinese green teas, and for good reason. The reputation is justified. You can get this in many places, but be wary of quality because there are so many different grades out there. Why have I picked this tea? Well, one of the reasons why people want to get into tea is because of health reasons. And rightly or wrongly, the media tends to focus in on green tea. You see reports about green tea. Whenever there's a health article about tea, it always uses green tea. And this is predominantly because green tea is higher in catechins, which are the very powerful antioxidants. However, between you and me, all tea is healthy, and green tea is being picked on because of its higher level of antioxidants in the test tube. It doesn't necessarily mean it's that way in your body, but that's the subject of a completely different video. So people coming into the world of tea for health reasons are looking for green tea. And maybe you have had those terrible green tea experiences, usually from a tea bag or from some very poor quality green tea that has given you this stewed, bitter, nasty green tea taste. And a lot of people come back to green tea with a lot of trepidation, a feeling that they should get into green tea, but in fact, they don't really like it, and they kind of walk in with a little bit of like, well, I know I should, but I don't really like it. And this is the perfect tea for them, because good quality green tea is a world away from that nasty tea bag green tea or the dusty, musty, bitter, astringent, nasty stuff which is commonly sold. So this is the way to open your eyes up to the wonders of green tea. Right, let's scope this tea. The season for this tea has to be early spring. It has to be early spring, preferably pre-Qingming, which means preferably basically before April 4th, around then. So early spring tea, very, very important. The cultivar, there are a few different cultivars that are used for Dragonwell or Longjing, but the one that we use is Longjing 43, which is a very, very good cultivar for this tea. Origin, this has to come from Zhejiang province. Zhejiang province is the protected area for Longjing tea. It has to come from that area, otherwise technically you can't call it Longjing tea. Now there are Longjing style teas made in other provinces, but if you want the real deal, then I suggest you start off with a Zhejiang tea. Picking and processing, this is bud and 1 leaf or bud and 2 leaves, and it's pan baked, and that's the key difference between Chinese green teas and Japanese green teas, it's pan-baked, which gives it the nuttiness and warmth, which is so special about this tea in particular, and most Chinese green teas. Finally, the elevation. This is 600-meter high tea. So that's the information that I would be looking for if I was purchasing Longjing. Okay, let's get on with tasting. Okay, so let's begin. Before we brew up this tea, I want to show you a quick quality marker for Longjing tea. When you are selecting your Longjing tea, look for tea that has this kind of white and yellow fluff or small hairs on the leaves, and you may see some little balls of white yellow fluff also. This is a very good sign. It means that the tea is early spring pick tea, because young leaves, very early spring, will still have those fine white yellow downy hairs. And when the tea master is pan roasting the tea, pan baking the tea, then he will be using, or she will be using, circular motions which will strip those hairs off the leaves and make these little balls. So these little balls of white yellow fluff are a very good sign. Don't think that it's mold. We've had complaints from clients saying your tea is moldy. It's not moldy. That is a sign for very high quality tea. Okay, so let's brew this up. I have a glass guy 1 here, and I've got water here which is around 80 degrees Celsius. It's about 175 Fahrenheit. I'm just going to quickly give the glass guy 1 a rinse. I'm not going to be doing a full tasting for these teas today because that would take too long. I'm just going to give you a snapshot of what you should expect when you purchase and taste these teas. So dry leaf goes in. Let's give this a smell. Oh, so creamy notes, nutty notes. The classic flavor descriptors that we use are hazelnut, chestnut, but it's also got grassy, fresh grass notes to it, but not as high as, say, an Anji Bai Cha. And it's the balance for Longjing which is what makes it so alluring and so successful for converting people to the world of green tea. As I say, most people, they have very, very, very bad experiences of green tea because they've had awful stewed teas, because the leaves are broken and or they're made into tea bags, which makes it tea dust, and that produces very, very low quality tea. You can see the tea rinse, how clear, vibrant, beautiful, bright yellow green color that is. And I'm already getting an amazing scent off this liquor. Let me quickly smell the wet leaf. So now it's been hydrated, so I'm getting more of those summer notes, summer meadows, some fruit there as well. Wonderful. I'm just going to pour this away. So we're just doing the tea rinse just to get rid of any broken leaves that are in the Gai 1, and we're going to go for our first brew. We're going to be doing flash brewing here. This is Gong Fu style brewing. If you don't know what Gong Fu style brewing is, there are plenty of videos out there that I've made about Gong Fu style brewing. I'm not going to get involved in that now, but this is the best way to brew your Chinese tea. Again, beautiful, bright colored liquor. Really, really nice. And let's move in for the taste. I'll show it to the camera one more time. Clear, clean, but you can still see there's some those white hairs that you saw before in the leaf. You can see that they've kind of broken up, and that gives texture and thickness to the tea. It's been a while since I've had some Longjing. This is one of our staples. Any client of Mayleaf, you know, we're always going on about how great this tea is, and it's one of our most successful teas. Cheers, everybody. So you get this buttery start, you get some hazelnuts, not roasted so much, maybe more raw hazelnuts, green chestnuts, that slight smell when you walk past at Christmas time when they're roasting chestnuts, very, very slight, a whisper of that. But I'm also getting some floral notes. I'm getting some orchid, I'm getting some vegetal notes. It's got definitely a brothy aroma to the leaf. Oh, keeps on sticking. Yeah, it's definitely got a vegetal aroma as well. Asparagus, some spinach. It's got a slight savory kind of chicken brothy kind of aroma. That's the umami, that's the theanine in the tea. So the joy of green tea is having something which is very light, very pure, but at the same time having an intensity of aroma and fragrance, which is, as I said, dancing. It's fleeting. It comes, it goes. You breathe out through your nose, and now I'm getting some rocky minerality, a little bit of the slatiness that comes from good Longjing. Pistachio nuts. It's also a kind of pistachio green, but pistachio nuts, that kind of savory, nutty, and creamy together. And then vegetal, spinach, asparagus, and a little hint of orchid, a little hint of flower. And it's this balance, it's this beautiful balance of flavors which makes this a great gateway tea. This is one that will open up your eyes. If you haven't tried a good green tea before, and anybody who's a tea head out there, you know about this tea already, and it is a great tea that opens people's eyes to what green tea should taste like. It's the perfect jumping off point to launch yourself into the world of green teas, to explore Chinese green teas, and then explore the difference between Chinese and Japanese or Korean green teas, etc. But Longjing is where I think everybody should start. So that's your first tea. Okay, let's move on to our second tea. The second tea is Eastern Beauty. Another classic. Eastern Beauty, also known as Oriental Beauty, also known as Baihao Oolong, Dongfang Meiren, Bragg's Tea, Five Color Tea. There's lots of names for this tea. It's another very, very, very famous tea. Classic, again, lots of different grades, so make sure you pick a good grade tea. And it's very close to my heart and everybody at Maylis because it's such an incredibly fragrant, fruity and rich tea. And the reasons why I've picked this as a good gateway tea, well, the first reason is because it's darker, it's a little bit richer, it's a little bit stronger. So for those people that want that more robust flavor, the people that maybe they've been drinking black tea already and they're accustomed to black tea, then this is a great, great gateway tea into more specialty fine teas. The second reason is because this is super, super fragrant. I've done another video on this before. I'll put a link in the description below. I've done a full video on the terpenes in Eastern Beauty. The terpenes being these very, very volatile and powerful aromatic compounds which are given off by the plant. And if you get a good Eastern Beauty, if you get a good Oriental Beauty, then hopefully it's also insect bitten. And if it's insect bitten, then that raises the game further. It ramps up those terpenes, so you get more terpenes, you get more honey notes, you get more of that hot trianol terpenes, which is very classic for insect-bitten tea. So that's the second reason why I've picked this tea. Very, very fragrant. And the third reason is simply, it may sound like marketing, but it's a great story, right? A lot of tea sellers use this as their gateway tea because it's a great story. If it genuinely is insect-picked teas, and every tea seller says that their tea is insect bitten, not all of them are, but if it is insect bitten, then it's a great story to tell people, right? This is bitten by insects and that increases the terpene content, and you know, it's a nice story that engages people into the tea. So those are the three reasons why I've picked this tea. This is not a black tea, this is an oolong tea, but it's been oxidized for a very long time, and so it's got that darker flavor and color and is closer to a black tea than a green tea. Okay, let's get tasting. It is always a treat when I get to taste Eastern Beauty. This is one of my favorite teas. If you get a good one, it's unforgettable. So 5 colors, you can see there's white, there's yellow, there's red, there's black, there's some greens. There's lots of colors here. You're looking for some hairy buds there, so some of these very delicate fluffy buds, but a whole mixture of leaves and colors and textures. Very, very interesting tea, but really the only way if you know it's a good one is by taste. So let's get some water in here. I'm brewing with slightly hotter water here. This is about 90 degrees, which is 185 Fahrenheit. I find that just increasing the temperature a bit brings out a little bit more of those bassy, woody notes, which I think provides a good balance to the tea. Okay, let's give it a sniff. Ah, heavenly, heavenly. Honey, but also citrus, some citrus peel. I would say grapefruit, lemons. It's got a lot of flowers as well. And this woodiness, a really nice dry woodiness to it that gives it that base notes. Again, a perfectly balanced tea. This is why I've picked it as a gateway tea. I think it's full of flavor, full of terpenes, lots of aroma, but very, very balanced. Okay, let's give it a quick rinse, get rid of any of the excessively small broken leaves in this tea. And then we'll quickly scope the tea before we taste it. Okay, quick smell of the wet leaf, bringing out more of the woodiness. Now the wood is wet. Incredible fruitiness like elderflower, some lychee, and the classic muscatel, which is this dessert wine grapes, that muscat grape smell. Okay, so let's scope this tea. Season, summer. This is one of the very few teas which are picked in summer because in summer, I should say, the insects arrive, and that's when the insects bite the leaf, and then that action, the biting of the leaf, brings about a reaction in the plant which increases terpenes, which have a very kind of honeyed and dessert wine aroma. The cultivar, there are many cultivars used to make Oriental Beauty or Eastern Beauty. Chinchin is my favorite, so this is the Chinchin cultivar. This comes from Taiwan. This is a Taiwanese tea from Hsinchu County, bud in one leaf, and it's a 500-meter elevation. So there's your scope analysis for the tea. Again, if you want to find out a lot more detail about this tea, then go check out the other video that I did. Let me pour this away into the Gongfu Guru, and let's brew up our first infusion. For those of you thinking that I'm throwing away the leaves after doing this, believe me, I'm not. There's so many infusions that I'm going to be getting out of these. It's a Saturday in London, and I've got the whole day to drink these teas. So that's a good day for me. Okay, let's pour this lovely liquor, beautiful kind of green, orange and brown liquor. Beautiful. Okay, cheers everyone. Texture is nice, medium bodied texture with a very clean finish. So, you know, it's not going to challenge anybody's taste buds, anybody in terms of texture, in terms of astringency or in terms of dryness. But it's got a nice, a medium to thick body. But the flavor is incredible. I'm getting lots of floral notes, those zesty notes of a good rose, like zesty lemony roses. I'm also getting the zestiness of, say, geraniums. So those more citrusy floral notes. And then there's the fruit. So I'm getting the rose, and then that's combined with fruit, which is again like grape, like dried dessert wine grapes, overripe grapes, lychees, some elderflower in there as well. I love this tea. And if you brew it cooler, it'll give you all of those notes. But what I like is if you brew it at about 90 degrees, it just seems to bring out those base notes a little bit more. I'm getting a little bit more wood, a little bit more foresty notes, a little bit more of antique wood actually, not just fresh wood, but antique wood. Getting the honey, the warmth of the honey as well, which comes from the bug bitten effect. So the hot trienol terpenes are there. Really lovely, full tea, but still light, still not something which is going to be overly challenging, which is going to cause too much dryness and astringency. A perfect gateway tea. And anybody that knows tea, all you tea heads out there, I'm sure you've tried many versions of this. Make sure you get yourself a good one. Bad ones are always the biggest disappointment when it's just woodsy with a little bit of flowers and not much else. It's a real disappointment, but you want that honey, you want that geranium, you want those fruits, those muscat fruits, those dessert wine grapes. A wonderful tea. I want to keep drinking. However, I know that we have to move on to our third tea. So final, in the empty cup, more cream and honey. Beautiful. Okay, final tea. The final tea in our top 3 teas for newbies is Osmanthus Oolong. Osmanthus Oolong. Less of a classic. Some people may be raising their eyebrows right now because I've picked a scented tea. But this is not artificially scented. This is scented with osmanthus flowers. Now, a lot of people know jasmine tea. We all have heard of jasmine tea. Most people have tried jasmine tea, and there are again varying qualities in jasmine tea. And I do like jasmine tea. In fact, I love a lot of good jasmine tea. However, sometimes jasmine can be a bit too sweet, a bit too heavy. You know, it's that kind of very rich, heavy sweetness. And sometimes you want that, but osmanthus, wow. Osmanthus for me is one of the most intoxicating smells. It's such a wonderful smell. It's so strong and powerful. It's very sweet and floral, but it's also got this kind of brightness to it. It's got this kind of apricot notes to it, tropical fruit notes, this kind of brighter, more vibrant than this kind of heavy, kind of sedating jasmine aroma. So Osmanthus Oolong is a great tea. The reason I picked it is because a lot of people are used to drinking scented teas, either jasmine tea or those artificially scented teas. I've done videos about that and why I dislike them so much. I'll put a link in the description below. So a lot of people are used to this very powerful aroma and flavor, especially on the nose. And so it's more difficult to get them involved into more delicate teas like silver needles, like huangya, like the yellow teas, which require you to have kind of develop your palate a little bit into the more delicate areas of tea tasting. Now, I'm making generalizations here, but this is generally the case. And so what we want to do is provide them with a tea which is true tea. It's naturally scented, but it has that rich, very vibrant, very bold aroma. And this is it. And it also introduces people to the creaminess of an oolong tea, because most scented tea that they try will be jasmine green tea. So this introduces people to the world of oolong teas. Now, I know a lot of people's gateway tea is teaheads or iron goddess, because it's this very floral oolong tea. And I absolutely agree. I was toying between them. But I actually think that if you just ramp up the aroma a little bit more, really bring out those aroma notes, you're going to get more people involved, get more people excited about tea, and then hopefully move into more pure teas. So those are the reasons why I've picked Osmanthus Oolong. Let's get tasting. So take a look at this oolong tea. What you can see is it's a ball rolled oolong, and it's got these little yellow, tiny little yellow flowers. And those are the osmanthus flowers. They are so small, but they pack such a punch in terms of aroma. Let's quickly scope this tea. This is a spring pick tea. It's made from the same cultivar as teaheads, so it's a teaheads cultivar. It's from Anxi County, the same area as teaheads. So it's exactly the same area, exactly the same cultivar. It's oolong, so it's up to the 3rd or 4th leaf. and the altitude is not so high. It's about 500 meters. That's pretty standard altitude for Anxi County, which produces the finest Tieguanyin, or Iron Goddess Oolong. I can already smell the osmanthus. Just after opening the pack, I can smell this osmanthus, and I love this smell. In fact, every time I go to China and it's osmanthus season, I end up kind of following my nose and finding the osmanthus trees and just spending some time smelling, because it's such an intoxicating smell. It became so obsessive for me that I shouldn't say this on camera, but I actually broke the law and smuggled in a small osmanthus plant into the UK, and I've got an osmanthus plant in my home, and it's incredible because every time it flowers, the whole house is filled with this smell, which I will try to describe to you. I get apricots. It's like dried apricots. That is really the predominant smell. So it's sweet, but it's got that acidity, it's got that sourness. Dried apricots, some tropical fruit. Then I'm picking up the smell of the oolong, which is creamy. It's got those honeysuckle floral notes that come from good Tieguanyin. Okay, the temperature that we've got here is again a bit hotter. This is 95 degree, which is about 205 Fahrenheit. Just going to give it a quick rinse. Again, get rid of any extraneous, maybe some leaves have broken up, there's a bit of tea dust in there. You want to get rid of those just because it will potentially make the tea a little bit more bitter than it needs to be. Ah, almonds. It's got a bit of grassiness, but the osmanthus, that apricot smell. Now it's more like fresh apricot than dried apricot. Okay, let's give this a brew. We're going to leave this for about 20 seconds, 15-20 seconds to open up. Ball rolled oolongs just take a little bit longer because you just want them to open up. Having said that, this should be enough. So if you like jasmine teas, if you are somebody that's coming to tea and you've been drinking mostly teas which have been scented, then give this tea a try. This is a great tea to really introduce you to high quality tea, because the oolong in there is high quality. You're going to taste that oolong and you're going to taste that lovely marriage between flowers and tea. Okay, enough talking. Let's taste. In fact, I just want to have a sniff of this wet leaf. Oh, there's a smell coming out of here which is taking me off guard a little bit. Trying to work it out. Bear with me. I might get it, I might not. It's a very high note, but it's quite spicy. It's like a seed of some sort. Caraway. That's what it is, caraway. You know, if you bite a caraway seed, it's got this quite anisey sweetness to it. That's there as well. But then I've got mango, definite mango. The tropical fruit is coming out. So the apricot has become even sweeter, even more tropical. Mango, almonds and butter. Cheers. Texture is light. With scented teas like this, the smell is more powerful than the smell that you get, this very bright fruity aroma, is going to be less on the taste and more on the nose. But with high quality scented teas, it should still be in the mouth as well. And when you breathe out through the nose, it should still be there, and it is. So I'm getting that mango. I'm getting raw almond. I'm getting frangipan, that kind of raw dough, the marzipan and ground almonds. Slight butteriness. And then that subsides. And then it comes back with grass, and it comes back with mango and grass. Real mango taste. I always describe this tea with apricot, but it's amazing the mango I'm getting. Yeah, it starts off buttery and creamy and comes back fresh, grassy and fruity. Great, wonderful combination. And it's that, again, balance that I'm looking for. Every time I'm selecting teas, it's all about that balance, the character, the event, the experience in the mouth. So it starts off light and then moves into this great, fresh, fruity aroma. Breathe out through your nose. You're really going to get a lot of that as well. Okay, let's smell the empty cup. Pretty simple, but again, I'm getting that caraway. I'm getting the caraway, slight medicinal herbiness to it as well. Caraway, maybe a bit of, what's that? A little bit of mint and caraway, and there's another medicinal herbiness there. Kuding, which you may or may not know. Kuding is a beautiful, very bright Chinese herb, which has a kind of anise sweetness to it as well. A wonderful, wonderful tea, and a fitting finale to my top 3 teas for newbies. Please let me know in the comments section below which teas you think are the perfect teas for newbies, the perfect gateway teas, the perfect teas to bring people into this wonderful world of true tea. If you are new to tea, I recommend that you try one or all of these teas so that you can really start to train your palate in what really good high quality tea should taste like, so you can really be set off on your tea journey. But let me know which teas did it for you. Which was the tea that really brought you into tea? I know a lot of you are going to say teaheads, so let me know. Teaheads is always a popular one. If there were any others out there, any other teas that really took you back and made you realize that tea was something a lot more than you had thought of before from those horrible tea bags. Well, I've got 3 barely touched teas to keep drinking today, so it's going to be a good day for me. But that's it, tea heads. If you made it to the end of this video, then please give the video the thumbs up. Check out our YouTube playlist and let us know if there are any videos that you would like us to make. If you're ever in London, then come visit us in Camden to say hi and taste our wares. If you have any questions or comments, then please fire them over. Other than that, I'm Don May from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.